The election of 1852 was truly a watershed moment in early American politics. With slavery becoming a major talking point for the majority of voters, both the Whigs and Democrats had to find a way to appeal to both the northern and southern factions of their party once again if they want any chance of winning the next general election. Although the Democrats would struggle to choose a candidate at first, they ended up going with former U.S. Representative and Senator of New Hampshire Franklin Pierce after 49 rounds of balloting. The Whigs, meanwhile, would have an even more difficult time picking a nominee, as their two major contenders were President Millard Fillmore and General Winfield Scott, making his third attempt at capturing his party's endorsement. After a bruising convention which saw 53 ballots being casted before a decision could be made, the Whigs relented and named Major General Winfield Scott as their nominee for president. At long last, the man nicknamed Old Fuss and Feathers had finally secured the top spot of his party's presidential ticket. But while Scott may have won the nomination from the Whigs, it would be the only thing he would win during this election. Much like the previous election, 1852 was yet another lackluster race with both sides agreeing on similar issues which, as you can imagine, didn't excite enough people to go out and vote. It probably didn't help that Southern Whigs disliked Scott for his anti-slavery views, while Northern Whigs disliked him for his support of the Compromise of 1850. Alienated by both factions of his party, the only thing the Scott campaign could do was to romanticize their man's military efforts to the public. But even that didn't work, as Franklin Pierce also served in the Mexican-American War as a brigadier general. Along with the Democrats digging into the general's extensive military career, which included a court-martial and hanging soldiers during the Mexican-American War, and it's easy to see how the results turned out like they did. On November 2, 1852, the Democrats crushed the Whigs in a landslide, carrying 27 out of 31 states and winning 50.8% of the popular vote. The electoral results were even worse, with Pierce winning 254 votes to Scott receiving a paltry 42 votes, which was the worst showing for the Whigs since becoming a major political party. With this loss and the growing divisions over slavery becoming more obvious, the Whig Party would meet its demise by 1854, with many of their supporters branching off into other political groups. By the time former Whig Party member Abraham Lincoln became the 16th U.S. president, he did so as part of the Republican Party, with names like Rutherford Hayes, Chester Arthur and Benjamin Harrison following in his footsteps, and even implement many of the Whig ideas like the American system into their domestic policies. In the end, the Whig Party could be seen as a coalition loosely held together by their disdain over Andrew Jackson, but when it really mattered they could never find their footing when it came to the presidency or dealing with the issue of slavery. Sure, it's easy to speculate as to how things might have been different had William Henry Harrison not died a month into office, or if Henry Clay won the election of 1844, but while the party may have ended with very little to show from a legislative standpoint, their policies and the men they inspired would go on to dominate politics with the Republican Party for much of the late 19th and early 20th century. Even the likes of Henry Clay and Daniel Webster managed to leave a long political shadow that still illuminates, despite never winning the presidency. The party itself may no longer be around, but their impact in some form or fashion still exists even today. Be sure to like the video and comment on what you thought of the Whig Party. Follow us on TikTok and Bluesky Social for all news and updates. Also subscribe to the channel for more content and hit the notifications bell, so you never miss another one of our videos when it drops.